Happy October, shoujo listeners. It's your girl, Sarah, and your boy, Joe, here to tell you all about Skip Beat and our thoughts and feelings and just talk about fun stuff in general. You know what? Ooh, look, I'm going to switch it up. Listen up, people. We always do the rate and review at the end of the episode. But you guys aren't doing it, so I should put it in the beginning, right? Force you to listen.
You didn't tell me that we were doing
this. No, I didn't. Is that fine?
Is it fine? I mean, I think it's kind of, if this is like the first episode, okay, if for some reason somebody is listening to Skip Beat episode 16 through 18, that's their first experience, and the first thing they hear is like, you should rate us, is like, well, they don't know what we do. What do we do, Sarah, on this podcast?
Well, what lunatic is starting at those episodes, but fine.
It's a good question.
But just a reminder, people,
it's weird,
that we want those.
Okay.
But we'll try to guilt trip you more later. For now, Joe is going to tell us all about his exciting life.
Wait, what do we do on this podcast, Sarah?
Fuck. Okay.
Don't listen to this. If this is your first episode, turn it off right now and listen to a different one.
Okay, shoujo podcast is about shoujo, the anime genre that is typically intended for young girls and was, hit its peak in the 90s and early 2000s. The show we're currently covering, Skip Beat, is more like of a specific thing, acting, whereas a lot of them typically are school life based, but we already cut last series we covered is Kimi ni Chidoke, so that was more of that typical school life romance deal. So we're gonna try and like keep it fresh with varying types of shoujo. So we're wrapping up Skip Beat soon, and we'll see what we cover next. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you didn't talk about me,
rambling. Oh, well, I talked about the podcast.
I know, but it's like, why is it called shoujo? Because I haven't seen it.
Okay.
And you have.
Joe here.
At least you've seen these shows.
Yes. I'm a girl, so obviously I watched the girly shows as a kid, and Joe only started watching stuff on Toonami, and they did not play girly stuff there, so he is not very familiar with the genre, and so I'm showing Joe shoujo. Get it?
There you go.
Shoujo.
We did it.
Maybe I should just
this is the
make
first
a
episode,
good one.
they know what's happening.
I should just make like a good intro and then just have that play every time. So I don't keep forgetting.
I think having to do it every time is good. I think it's fun to have to redo it every time.
Yeah.
This is people don't come here for our automated messages.
No.
People come here to listen to what unique thing we have to say every week.
Mm-hmm. I know. I feel like you're the one bringing the interesting things to the table. I'm just like, I took a bunch of naps and that's about it.
You need to start going crazy. This is what I'm saying. You need to start just like doing some wild stuff. Watch a weird movie. Make some like weird drink and describe it.
No.
Mix together hot chocolate and like Pepsi and tell me how it is.
Ew. I don't like carbonated. I don't drink soda. Grody.
Oh my gosh.
Ew. I have one exciting update. I guess we could.
Yeah, go for it.
Should I go first? Okay. People,
sure.
This is not drill. This is real. It is finally feeling like fall in Texas. It's like actually pleasant outside in the mornings and evenings. Like we're not quite, where it's cold throughout the whole day, but we are getting there. And that is exciting because like what Joe's worried about, if you're a first time listener here, I hate the Texas heat, which is almost always. So that sucks. So when it is not miserable outside, I get really excited. So much so that I even think, oh, maybe I'll like go on a hike or something, which is so out of character. But let's see. Normally we catch up on what we've been doing. So
wait, that was the whole thing? The weather is better?
Yeah. It's exciting.
I thought you were like leading into something. I think you're like, the weather is better, so I decided to go do this. But it's just the weather is better.
I thought about doing something.
I considered going outside. Aren't you proud of me?
It's not quite there yet. I need to be able to wear a like jacket and not get hot from moving around outside because it's still that.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyways, well, you can't relate anymore. You have like a lovely cold season going on for you.
It's nice here. It's like I get to wear pants now.
When you were here, it was all you knew, so you didn't know any better. You grew up in Texas, right?
I mean, I like visited other places before. It didn't just like I wasn't confined to Texas, and then I like realized that there are other seasons that exist.
Yeah. Oh man. I feel like a lunatic this episode. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Anyways, things I've been doing. I finished Life is Strange and I crumbled and got the Ultimate Edition of the next one because then I get to play the first 2 episodes before release, which I'm doing. I finished the first episode yesterday. And
what was the replay?
It was fine. I don't remember having like extreme feelings about anything the first time I played it, but like I freaking hate the character Chloe. She's so annoying.
Dude,
punk ass. No, she's a troublemaker.
She's your friend who knows how to have fun.
She's ungrateful. She lashes out to everyone trying to. It's the worst.
You're describing
ever.
A teen.
Well, anyways, spoiler alert: if you haven't played Life is Strange and you plan on playing it, at the end of the game, you have the decision to either like save her life and basically the town gets destroyed because you have jacked up the timeline, or you let her die so that things don't go horribly wrong like that and save the town. I freaking save the town. Bye Chloe. Like so long.
So that's like I know that's the end of the game. How does the next one start? Like because it has to pick an ending, right?
Well, no. There's like you have a conversation, they ask you like, oh, who's that girl in the photo you keep? And you can say, we were friends or we were like high school sweethearts. And then you can say, and they're like, oh, well, what happened? And you can either say, oh, we grew apart or she died. So there's like kind of you determine for this game what the canon is.
So it's like the Mass Effect thing kind of where they're like, hey, what happened last game? And you tell them and they're like, okay. But like she can't be in it because she could be dead, right?
Well, I have only played the first chapter, but from what I've seen online, I think okay, basically, well,
I mean, I guess it's a time travel game, so there's no rules, so.
Well, the gameplay is different, so it's like the powers don't work exactly the same, so now I might have to actually live with my choices and not just redo them until I get the one I like. It's more like shifting dimensions than the time of the world you're in currently.
Interesting. Okay.
But so far I like it. Let's see. The graphics are definitely better. It's a different developer now. Because it was like Don't Nod was the original developer, and then at some point I guess Square Enix has this developer called 9 Deck that did Life is Strange, True Colors, and now the Double Exposure. And so I bigger budget, so it definitely looks better. Less cringy because they're not high schoolers. This is like about 10 years after the first game. Yeah, so and I feel like they like all the character interactions feel a lot more organic. Like I could see this is like how someone would act and gesture and facial expressions seem normal. So that's good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't make me cry at any point or something.
Would hate to feel something while playing this game.
Yes. I don't want to feel feelings. I just want to be like fairly neutral at all times. I don't want to feel super sad.
That sounds like not that fun.
I'd rather sacrifice not being super happy than being super sad as a risk.
Yeah, but it's a story. It's not, you can just. Sometimes sad stories are nice. It's like, oh, look at that.
No, oh my God. Also, spoiler alert. Okay, I'm not going to really go into the details.
Stop, you're just spoiling everything.
Spoiler alert for season 3 of Vox Machina.
What?
The last episode that came out made me cry.
Right. Yeah, go ahead. Skip ahead a minute or something.
I'm not going to say what happened. I'm just saying something happened that made me cry quite a bit.
It's not really a spoiler.
I know, but just in case they're like, oh no, what happens?
Did you like bawl?
Sarah, who has a hardened heart, cry? I didn't bawl, but I definitely something happened, and then anytime they refer to the thing that happened, I started crying again.
Wow.
Oh boy. And you thought it was all dick jokes and violence, mindless violence. In that.
Are you talking to me or the audience?
I don't know. Anyone who's watched the show, because it kind of gives off that.
I have never thought of you as dick jokes.
No, that's the show.
Oh, yeah. The show totally is that.
Yes. Not what I'm into. But that's a part of it they'll have to deal with.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I guess that's essentially I mean it's I got one more week. And then basically 2 weeks from now, or 2.5 weeks, it'll be game on for Dragon Age Veilguard.
Right.
I'm so freaking stoked. So get ready to listen to me talk about that a lot in future episodes.
Sure.
How about you, Joe?
Anything about Dragon Age?
Yes. How about you? What have you?
I've also been playing some games. I beat Fatal Frame. I beat the PS2 game Fatal Frame 1.
That sounds kind of
2001. It's the one where you take a picture with a camera of ghosts.
Just
and you fight with a camera.
But no ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, this one's like a camera first-person shooter, kind of. I mean, you walk around. It's like, Silent Hill, where you walk around, but then you attack things with the first-person camera.
Oh. Sounds scary.
Yeah. It's a scary game. I'm playing scary games for
I know. I saw in the Discord. I put in one we could play together. It's only $3 on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played Fatal Frame 1. It was pretty fun. I feel like part of the reason it was pretty fun is that I could save state because of the way I was playing it. Because that game is extremely unforgiving. You can save whenever you want.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to when you save at save points, because that game does not have that many save points. And also the boss battles are extremely unforgiving. They're not that hard, but it's just if you ever mess up, it takes off half your health and you have an extremely limited amount of healing items. And so it's just it's so punishing. And the last boss even one shots you basically. So it's okay, well, if I died during the last boss, I would have to replay the entire segment before it, which is probably 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And I died 4 times. That would have been 20 minutes if I had to do that. So that stuff is not great, but that's just
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Dark Souls with a camera as your weapon?
No, I mean it's not that precise. You know what I mean? It's just because the controls are a little janky, right? Because it's the horror game kind of thing. So not everything responds perfectly.
Okay, so I could see that being.
So it's part of that, but there's definitely some quality of life stuff that wasn't around in 2001
for sure.
That is around now. So I had a good time playing it in 2024 with save stating and a walkthrough. But if I didn't have those things, it probably would have been pretty difficult. But
yeah, well, it's not a JRPG, so it's not it's freaking JRPGs where you have the freaking safe, interactable.
No, that's a lot of games. This is also the Resident Evil. This is also
well, that's
Silent Hill did this. I mean,
this is a Asian company or developers, right?
Well, yeah, these are all Japanese games.
They love punishing us, I guess.
I mean, that's just a style of game that you can do. I mean, if they do it now, I mean, it used to be like that because autosave was not a thing because the hardware wasn't that good. It wasn't really until later that things got better at checkpointing and stuff like that.
I guess.
But nowadays, if something has a manual save, it's because that is the style they're going for or whatever.
Okay.
Which is why I am not people are oh, are you playing Re-Phantasmo or whatever? What's it called? The not Persona game?
Yeah. Metaphor? Nope. I don't know.
It's got some.
I don't know. I the
Square
art style is a little more I don't know, gothy or dramatic or something or stylized. Like Persona character portraits are so clean, but these ones are
Metaphor
a bit more
Refantasio.
Aha, that's right. Metaphor was in the name. Names like that make it feel unapproachable, you know? Like for someone who
Oh, I'm into it. I love when you just throw some shit on there. We'll talk about something in this episode where it's just like being over the top, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. Just throw more words into it. Just make the longest subtitle ever. But yeah, like the Shin Megami Tensei games, which is, you know,
the what Persona
the mainline series that Persona spin off is all about like the dungeon crawl. You can only save. It's really punishing, and I think that stuff sucks.
Yep.
I am not a fan of that stuff because I don't care. I don't care about your game being punishing. Like, you know, I'll play like Dark Souls and Elden Ring and stuff because those games are hard, but they're not punishing, right? Like you die and you have to walk, you have to run back for like 30 seconds or something. It's like nothing. It knows it's like you die, you have to replay like 10 minutes of gameplay. And I'm like, I'm just not going to do that after a certain point because I don't care, actually. It's not interesting to me to have to replay a section because you made the wrong choice for a thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm playing that. I beat that game. It was pretty fun. I'm also playing all of the Gears of War games again. I'm like, you know, I never played 4 and 5, and there's also like a tactics game that came out a couple years ago. So I'm like, I should play through the whole series again. So I played through 1 on like the Ultimate PC edition or whatever, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is kind of like how I remember it. But then I played 2, and I realized that everything I remember is from Gears of War 2. I don't remember any of the other games. I only remember that one. So now I'm playing 3, and I'm like, wow, this stuff happened? I don't remember this at all. But that definitely came from an era when like sequels were just like uniformly better than the previous one. You know what I mean? Like it just took the previous thing and like expanded all the stuff you wanted it to. Yeah. It's like definitely from that era. Like I also remember that being between like the jump between like Halo 1 to Halo 2 to Halo 3. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, oh, this is just like across the board better.
Well,
like there's very few things I miss.
A time where, you know, like games were still gaining in popularity and technology was drastically improving, or it was much more noticeable between generations of things. Because I feel like, I don't know. Assassin's Creed, that's the only one I can think of where it has like current sequels coming out. I mean,
lots of games have sequels.
Yeah, I'm like, games that I'm familiar with, though, I'm not sure.
It's just like not as obvious that the sequel is going to be better than the original. You know what I mean? Like that's not like I feel like that used to be a given, and now it's just like, well, you know, they're going to make some changes, and maybe you don't like those changes.
Now it's more like a movie,
or they're going to like focus on other things, and maybe we don't like that.
The first one was good, so you're worried the second one's going to not hold up.
Yeah, I mean, this has never been true in movies, right? Like it's you never know if a sequel is going to be as good as the first one, and most of the time it isn't. Sometimes it is. But for a while, their games were like that, and now they aren't. And it's just interesting to go back to an era where that was kind of a given and be like, wow, I wonder if I'll play Fatal Frame 2 and just think it's way better than the first one.
That's fun. It's fun replaying games you haven't played in a long time. Sometimes they hold up, sometimes they don't.
Yep.
Cool. And
video games.
Yeah, we love video games here. Have
watched anything? Yeah, I've watched stuff. I don't really know. I haven't like finished any of it. Like, you know, I started watching Space Runaway Ideon, which is another old mech show. I started watching.
Do you still update your
Dan or whatever?
Scrudge? Oh, how is that? Someone I met at TwitchCon mentioned that was good, but I'm like, it looks a little freaky to me.
It's not freaky particularly. Like it's not scary. If that's what you're worried about.
The new Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya is from the description is what I got. That's kind of like the.
I have never seen that, so I don't know. But yeah, it has a good opening, and the animation looks pretty good. I'm not so hot on the sex jokes in it.
Come on, man, why?
They're not that bad. The first episode's pretty bad, but after that, like I've only seen the first 2 episodes. The second episode is totally fine for the most part.
The like PC-ness of Western media is not the same in Japan, or like it's like the established rule that like all shonen anime is going to be pervy, and that's what people like about it. So why change?
See, I don't think that's true though. Like, I don't think all shonen stuff is pervy. Like Attack on Titan is not particularly pervy.
No, that's because that one's just a bummer all around.
Yeah, I mean, but like a lot of the newer ones pretty much aren't. Like the new season of Bleach really isn't at all particularly. I mean, there's some weird stuff.
Well, maybe it's only pervy if they don't have any female characters consequential enough to be regularly in the show.
I mean, what else is popular that's not super pervy? I feel like
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer wasn't really.
No. Fire Force definitely was.
Fire Force contained like I just got that on
character dedicated to that role.
Combined it, yeah, it's like not pervy except for one character who like in the text of the show is like, this sucks, and everybody else in the show is like, yeah, it sucks that this happens to you, and then it just keeps happening because the author is a weirdo.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Family.
I feel about it. I feel like it sucks. Spy Family doesn't.
Yeah, I finished watching the second season and started the movie. Yeah.
So I feel like it's a really it's really things have gotten better in that regard for the most part.
But then freaking Chainsaw Man, that is like all it is. I could not watch that show from how much of it was pervy.
That's
it was
different,
out of
though.
control.
Chainsaw Man is like, that's part of the plot, though. Like,
I was
it's
like,
important to Denji's character that he's like this.
I was like clutching my pearls. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, wait, over what?
This is for teenagers.
Nothing even really happened.
I don't know. He's just much more like explicit with his thoughts rather than like it just being implied, I guess.
Well, that's because it's not supposed to be like a titular fan service thing. Like, it's not supposed to get the audience going. This is like part of his character arc. Like, the thing about Chainsaw Man is that him being like a horny teenager is like important to the plot. Which means that the show's going to comment on it and has things to say about it, which I like more than other stuff where there's just fan service and nobody acknowledges it. And I have to be like, well, why is this even here? Like, why is like perverted stuff happening if we're just going to like if we're not commenting on it, you know what I mean?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, as soon as they killed off the cute
it's fine
dog, I was like, damn, what is the point of even watching this if there's not a cute little chainsaw dog? Mascot gone immediately.
The problem with Chainsaw Man is that I like the stuff that happens later, but we won't get to that for a couple of years. So I keep having to like try to be like, no, it's good. And everybody else I know is like, I don't really care for it. And I'm like, well, you know, eventually we'll get to a part where some stuff happens that's the coolest shit ever. But it's not going to be for a little bit. It's definitely not going to be next arc, which I don't particularly like.
What do you think of One Punch Man? I saw season 3 is finally coming or announced or something.
I didn't watch season 2.
I didn't watch it. I need pretty characters to look at.
It's fine. I think it's fine. I think the joke it has, it kind of runs its course, and then at a certain point I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're kind of done here.
Yeah, that's true. There's no training montage if he's already the strongest dude ever. No tournaments. Yeah. Nothing like that.
But I don't know. I didn't watch season 2. People didn't like it because of, I guess, like the budget was not as polished, so it didn't look as good.
Okay, I saw on Instagram or something, there's a show called Uzumaki or something.
Yes.
That's like this horror thing where the first episode was like incredible quality and then it plummeted. And it people were like, is it intentional? But I read that like the show was like got cut. Or like.
Yeah, I know that one got delayed a lot of times. I don't know if that's like the quality is bad. Cause like what happens is, you know, the first season has like some stuff. Like the second season has some sequences where like they don't, you know, it's like, it looks like kind of like low res things, but that looks also the way that the manga does. And like so much of that show is trying to imitate Junji Ito's style in it, like what it looks like. So it almost kind of works for me, even though it's like, you know, it looks rougher, like it doesn't look as clean. But that is like how it would look on the page when you draw somebody in the distance. So it didn't really bother me.
Okay.
I don't really know. Yeah, it's a horror. It's a horror manga. It's a horror.
I've never read a horror. I don't think I've ever been into horror or anything. I don't know.
That manga I own that physically. It's good.
I don't know. I guess Attack on Titan is slightly in the horror genre, maybe.
Yeah. No, it is definitely like the first, several seasons for sure.
The only one I've probably watched. I don't like, because I feel like anime when it's creepy, it's like creepy. Like Elfen Lied? Or Lied, yeah. That just the like style that they animate the violence in that show gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like, creepy.
Yeah, there's a lot of like gore, violent stuff you can animate pretty well in those.
Yeah, but we are here to cover happy, lovey-dovey shows. And speaking of pervs, we get to see Sho in some of these episodes.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, I was thinking that was more of the horror thing.
Oh. Well.
The horror of if we have to hang out with Sho.
Yeah. Okay, well. Seamless transition. Yep.
Seamless transition. So this week for a voice actor, I tried to look at the voice actor for Yashiro, but this person doesn't do a lot of other stuff. So
Damn.
The voice actor for Yashiro is Masahito Kawanago, who plays the character Gaston in the 1997 version of Berserk, who's one of the guys in the mercenary crew. I've never seen Berserk, but I know this.
Neither.
He's also the helicopter pilot named Mike in Resident Evil 4 in both the 2005 original and the 2024 remake.
Okay.
So that's fun. He plays a character named Skull in Power Rangers in Space.
Oh no. I never even heard of that.
He plays one of the demons in Inuyasha named Yako.
I think if I know that one.
It's like in 5 episodes out of like 100, so you probably wouldn't recognize that.
Normally, freaking, yeah, okay.
Inuyasha is long. And then he does like a bunch of additional voices in things like Watch Dogs 2, in one of the Ranma 1/2 OVAs, and in Serial Experiments Lane.
Okay.
So this seems to be like one of his major roles.
Gotcha. Well, he's a star to us here.
He's a star to us. We love Yashiro. He shows up in this episode.
He's splendid every time we see him.
He gets to be like the one adult.
Ren is 20.
Like adult.
That is incredibly young. Like, not mature age at all in reality.
20?
Yeah, he's 20.
Yeah.
Insane.
I mean, yeah.
Because they make him,
so.
I don't know, like Kyoko seems to look up to him.
Yeah,
so
I'm
much,
dreading the point where we have to talk about the age gap. We're eventually going to have to talk about the age gap where she is 16 and he is 20.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. What's the age of consent in Japan? It's probably lower than it is here.
Guess what? I don't really care what the age of consent is for stuff. I still think the age gap is not the greatest of all time.
It's just at that phase in the life. We don't have to talk about that
now.
Okay, yeah. Because it's not that bad if they were older. But it's just that currently she's a delicate flower.
Yeah, well, that's because age gap isn't about the actual number. It's about like where you are.
Power dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about that.
Okay. Well.
Anyway, we'll talk about that when it becomes relevant, which thankfully is not relevant exactly at this moment, but we're approaching it.
We're building up
to be being like, all right, so why is this happening? Okay. Right now we are at Skip Beat stage 16, which is called Dislike versus Dislike.
Again,
we open on Kyoko.
The weird title. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I don't really get the other titles make sense. I feel like for the most part. This one does not make a ton of sense to me.
I can talk about what I think it means later once we're done with it.
Okay.
Sorry. Shutting up.
That's okay. We open on Kyoko being crushed by a collapsed Ren. She notices that he has a fever and tries to get up, but she can't push him off of her. Through the wall, she hears Ren co-star talking loudly and is annoyed that she couldn't remember her lines earlier, leading Ren to getting sicker as like they had to stay in the rain for like retakes of that shoot. Which also is the reason why she's trapped on the floor right now. Kyoko's like, I could remember those lines. How come she couldn't remember those lines? And then she starts reciting them from memory. And upon hearing this, Ren wakes up and then he says his lines like in response back as the OP plays. We cut back and Ren gets up and Kyoko thinks that he's still like acting in character. Like he's broken out of his, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Fatigue.
Stupor.
To be in character because all he knows is work. He starts to walk off and she tells him that he's sick and should take the rest of the day off, but he just gives her a stern look and then leaves. He works the rest of the day. Kyoko comments that he must love acting. The workday ends and Kyoko is missing. Ren gets off of work and finds that Kyoko has like run to the store to buy a bunch of medical stuff. She gives him a cooling pack and makes him some shaved ice to eat, but she does this while they're in a car. So she like makes shaved ice in a car
on the go,
which is incredible.
Yeah.
She also bought a bunch of food that she starts to prepare also in the car. Ren thinks to himself that she really put a lot of effort into this and that this might be her being her true self.
You know what's dumb?
He reflects on
that. He's like, how does she know my throat hurts and I can't swallow? Like, dude, because everybody knows, because everyone's been sick before. It's not special.
It's the most like, oh, yes, Ren is not like a human being. he does not know how to be normal at all. Like, he could only be like head down in his work or like Mr. Charming Man. But as soon as he has to be a regular guy, he's just like, damn, people like know what being sick is like. They didn't just, how do they know? How could they possibly know this?
Oh, man. Wild.
He reflects on his memory of Kyoko when they were young. He thought of her as an overly romantic girl, but then remembers that she also gave 110% on everything. She says that she became his platonic idea of a Japanese girl.
Because he's not
we come back to
Japan. Hint, hint. No.
Uh-huh.
What? Obviously, he's like, oh.
Am I supposed to pick up on that? I didn't pick up on that.
Because he's like, this is what a Japanese girl is like. Like, he didn't grow up in Japan and was surrounded by Japanese girls.
I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We come back to Ren's apartment. He's lying on his enormous bed as Kyoko changes his ice pack. Dude, this bed is huge. He says,
he's huge. He needs a big bed.
I mean, he's big. Dude, he's big, but like, yeah, I know, but it's not even like he's like taking up the whole bed. Like the bed goes out for like another foot. It's enormous. He says thank you to her and calls her Kyoko-chan, which surprises her. She goes back to study, but realizes she's just been thinking about how Ren called her that instead of actually like doing any work because she's still trying to pass her entrance exam to get into high school. It's the next morning. Ren feels better. He walks out to Kyoko in the kitchen making food, but she was also like trying to study at the same time, so she ends up messing up the meal. She has him drink this gross vegetable smoothie, and he hates it. We learn that his memory of last night is hazy, and Kyoko is unsure if he remembers calling her Kyoko-chan. Ren thinks to himself how wrong he's been about Kyoko this whole time, and how she really is acting now like how he remembered her in the past. We cut to Ren's... What?
Sorry, I missed the timing on when you were taking
Yeah, okay, I take a pause after these things. That's when you should say stuff.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm seeing these episodes in particular, a lot of context is being cut out because he's like, he's like, did you dress me? Like, did a young girl have to change me into pajamas?
Oh, he did say that.
And in the manga, she says like no, and it flashes to how she got him to get changed, or she just kept saying the lines over and over, so he would wake up and then she'd like act like it was a line and say get dressed and stuff like that, using acting to like make him do these things. So interesting cut.
I do like how this is portraying him as like all he knows is acting.
For sure.
Okay. So we cut back to Ren's film shoot. Kyoko keeps looking at Ren instead of studying. She gets annoyed and starts to wonder if he hates her, or like, does she still hate him, or like, oh, what's going on here? And while thinking about this, she does an impression of him with her like doll that she makes, and he catches her doing this impression, and he tells her that her impression's pretty good, and she is embarrassed. Ren steps out to read the next script for like the next scene or whatever. And while reading, he thinks more about Kyoko and how she is dedicating her time to him, even though she doesn't like him. Kyoko goes out to find him because she needs to like bring him something, but sees that he's studying his lines, but he can't see her because he's like sitting on like a stairwell. So she's like under the stairwell. He's trying to remember his lines, but he can't because he's sick. Kyoko hears him struggling and figures it might be easier to remember your lines if you have a partner to, hear the responses. So from beneath the stairs he's on, she starts to say the lines. Ren says his lines in response, and then he walks down to see her. He wonders if she's really an amateur who's only been at it for 6 months. I mean, look at how good she is reading these lines that she memorized. Crazy. Moko is rubbing off on everybody. Everybody can just remember their lines now. So they're doing the, back and forth until eventually Ren breaks from the scene and compliments Kyoko's acting. Kyoko tells him that she's been learning a lot from the acting courses and that it's been really fun. And Ren is surprised and asks if she's learning to, aren't you just learning to act to beat Sho, right? But Kyoko adamantly denies that. He asks why she is, and she says that it's in efforts to recreate herself independent of the expectations of those around her, because she is trying to learn how to become her true self. She comments that Ren probably thinks that's stupid, but she looks up to see Ren smiling genuinely at her. He says that he completely believes her, and Kyoko decides that she doesn't hate him anymore. It's that evening, and she's still staying at Ren's place. She falls asleep while studying, and Ren wakes her up, which freaks her out because he's too nice to her now. Ren comments that she should get some sleep since she had to take care of him yesterday, but she says that she still needs to study, and he's like, well, why do you need to study so much? It's not like you need to get like a perfect score, like you could probably pass as is. Kyoko realizes that he's right, and she doesn't need to be perfect. He tells her to relax and go take a bath or something. And she's like, that would be a good idea. But then she remembers that she's in a guy's apartment. So she's like, I can't take a bath in a guy's apartment. And he's like, what? You think I'm going to peek at you or something? Come on. Who do you think you're talking to? And then they go back and forth a little bit as we end the day. It's the next day and Kyoko and Ren are stuck in traffic. Kyoko says they're going to be late, but their taxi driver says he can't do anything about that. Ren floats the idea of taking the bus, but Kyoko is like, dude, you're too famous to be on a public bus. Then she sees a guy riding a bike and gets out of the taxi. She commandeers the bike and tells Ren to get on, and Ren thinks that it's a silly plan, but if she can get him there on time, then she will get a 100-point stamp from him as we cut to credits.
Nice.
Bonding. They bond this episode. This is the bonding episode.
Yeah, well,
they don't hate each other anymore.
The dynamic, right? I guess the dislike versus dislike is they're both kind of at odds with each other for different reasons. And those reasons kind of get addressed or
they actually aren't at odds with each other. It's a misunderstanding, right?
Yeah.
Ren's weird hang up is that he thinks that she's only doing stuff to get revenge, which if he had ever talked to a normal person, I think he would realize that nobody would actually do that.
That's true. He doesn't
That's
have
just an excuse.
Normal skill set of a human. So
yeah, it's weird how much he just kind of takes people at their word. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's when we saw him agonizing over the script for that very commonly understood phrase when she was in the bow suit. It was how do I know what tune it is? Yeah, but it's so apparent what that means, but he didn't get it.
Right. Well, it's interesting because I assume that a lot of acting has to do with the fact that sometimes characters say not exactly what they mean, and so you have to figure out what they're trying to, what they are doing, because you want to act the way that they mean, even if it doesn't reflect the dialogue, right? Which is, I assume, a lot of it. I mean, that's in these episodes, it's always hey, what is my character supposed to be thinking while doing this, or at what point am I supposed to make internally the decision to start acting a different way as a character? But I guess he's just not that good at looking at that in real life. I guess he just separates work from hanging out with people, the real world.
Well, all he does is work. I don't think
That's
he's
true.
hanging out with people at all.
Yeah, we don't see him have any friends, huh?
No, just Mr. Yoshiro.
He hangs out with Yashiro, his manager, but that's his manager. That doesn't count.
And talk shows. He just, when he's not acting, he's promoting his acting. So he's keeping up the facade of the celebrity and not cutting loose I need to, as you say.
Yeah, or even going to a movie. Do you think he watches the movie? What is he doing? You know what I mean?
Probably give them a copy, a personal copy before release or something.
I mean, he probably has to go to the screening or whatever, the one where they have everybody there.
Yeah. Premiere.
The premiere, yeah. So, I mean, I guess he sees that. But, what does he do for fun? What does he do outside of this? I don't think he does anything.
No, I don't think so either.
This is so sad. I mean, Kyoko at least has Moko as a friend now.
Yeah. And making cursed dolls and cooking and all. Yeah.
Sad.
Wild.
Ren is sad. But they're connecting. They don't hate each other anymore.
Yeah.
And all it took was Ren needing to be nursed back to health.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. One thing. The subtitles, when he says Kyoko-chan, they say Kyoko dear. And I'm that's so weird. Just say Kyoko-chan in the subtitles.
Well,
they're making it
for
seem
localization. I mean, how do you...
But
if this is the first anime you're watching, you're not going to know what the context of that
way
is.
More than what Chan means, you know? Like, it's making it seem like he's saying the word dear and not just her name with the honorific. It's so weird.
Yeah, but like him saying her name with the honorific is like more like has weight to it in a way that it wouldn't if they like somebody else said it to her. You know what I mean?
I know, but like it's so weird. As someone who
I get it.
understands,
it's hard to localize. It's hard to localize that.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, how do you communicate that? Like, he's being in like
familiar,
familiar, but in like a more intimate way than regular familiarity.
I don't know. I hate it.
Okay.
Sorry.
They should just know. Watchers should just know exactly what the intention of the line reading is.
Other animes don't do that. They just show the honorific in the subtitles.
Yeah, I know. But like, again, this was like localized at a specific time. It depends on what like you think the audience is going to know. Like, this is the part of a localization that's hard, which is like, you don't know whatever, like what they've watched besides this.
I guess. I know. In all the manga I read, you just go to the very back page and explain like things like that. Like it would have terms there, or at least because the manga has a lot of Japanese references. So she always puts like these notes on like, oh, this is the context of what this means, blah, blah, blah. So, but that doesn't come with an anime.
Yeah, TV shows do not have glossaries, unfortunately.
Okay, moving on.
All right. Well, they're friends now, I guess.
They're friends.
Maybe more.
No.
Maybe they want to be more. Maybe
Kyoko
Ren specifically wants to be more, and Kyoko doesn't seem to care very much.
They're both so stubborn. Neither one would admit it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay. Anyways, Stage
17 is called Date of Fate. We open on Kyoko getting ready for school. She tells us that she's been Ren's fill-in manager for a while. And also in the meantime, between last episode and this episode, she passed her entrance exam so she can go to school now. She bids the bosses farewell as she rides her bike to school. I have a comment about her school uniform.
What? It's so basic? Unremarkable?
It's like not that interesting. Yeah, because it's like a plaid skirt.
Does she ride a bike with a skirt? She's going to be flapping
it's not that
her
long of a skirt.
Panties everywhere. No, I'm saying like it's going to be.
You sit on it. What do you mean?
Well, you sit on the bottom, but if you're pedaling, you're moving your legs and the skirt isn't that short. So if you're moving, people would be getting panty shots when you're pedaling. And with the movement of air, it would, in the front, because it's not like it's a fitted skirt. It's a flared skirt, so it is more malleable to the elements.
I mean, I guess so. It's not like that short.
I was like, damn. No, it's not like super short, but yeah, it's not a very because it's like a celebrities school that you think it'd be super flashy or just more interesting.
Well, I don't like the blue bow tie. She has a blue bow tie, and it doesn't match the skirt. And I'm like, they need to do better on this. I like the bow tie.
It's not a school life one, so it's not like, she's constantly, and that's the only thing we're going to see her wearing.
Yeah. If it was a different color, if it matched the skirt better, I would like it better.
It's like a green plaid skirt. I don't remember if there's any blue highlights in it or not.
Yeah.
But red would probably go better. Or just black.
It's also just like, I don't know. It's weird to like match a bow tie, which sits pretty high up on your torso, to highlights in a skirt, which sits pretty low. Because then you have this entire like void white space where your blouse is. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but
I don't remember.
It's too much space. There needs to be something else in there,
Well, it's
like it should be embroidered.
What is the winter? What does the winter one look like? Because maybe the coat at least is cute. The blazer. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It probably works with the blazer, maybe. We never learn what seasons it is in this show. Or like what time of year it is necessarily, do we?
I don't know.
I guess it also takes place over like a shockingly short period of time.
It's only been 6 months, yeah. I feel like, no, because she referenced like in the commercial audition, like, oh, back in February, I like lost all my happiness or something. So February is when it happened. And it's been 6 months. Then it's like August.
Okay.
That would make it warm there. I'm
not really paying attention to like, is Ren wearing a coat? Maybe I should be. I should be paying attention to Ren's outfits.
Yeah, I know. Some of them are
But I'm
like,
not,
oh, that's
so.
too many buttons, dude. Like,
He wears a lot of layers, my guy.
Yes.
It's hot. You got to be hot, dude.
yeah, he's always in pants and dress shoes, and then sometimes wearing a hat. Hat makes it hotter. But I guess he's like trying to shield his identity so he's not harassed constantly. Blah blah blah.
I guess he apparently never thinks about it though, because he's like, why don't we just take the bus?
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
even as they nope.
She's excited to go to school, even though she says her school's kind of abnormal, and we get a scene where she's like in her fine arts class, and everybody's talking about how they have to take time off to go do like photo shoots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess she went to like a magnet school for like specifically these types of showbiz kids. I don't know.
Yeah, just because they all have stuff going on, they need flexible schedules.
Yeah, which I guess makes sense. Yeah. Let's see. She realizes that she needs to go to work after school, so she heads right on over. On her way, she sees the soda commercial play on one of those like big billboards on the side of buildings. And some random girls comment that Moko is very talented, but they can take or leave Kyoko. And Kyoko is distraught, but carries on anyway.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to LME.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, she looked fine.
Yeah, she looked happy.
But they don't like her.
No,
she's too serious.
It's the hair color, girl. It was a bad choice. It's too orange.
I like it.
And
it's
they refer to it as light brown. It is orange as can be. It matches her eyes at least, I guess.
Yeah, she could definitely be like I don't know. She could show up on like the Muppets or something. You know what I mean? Like she's got that kind of like big, flashy profile with the orange hair. Yeah,
that's true. Like her natural setting is to be very like formal and, traditional interactions, but then she can be so extreme at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Like, I would always recognize her if I saw her in something and she had that hair.
She should not
they always put her in a wig
as her stage name. She should have picked a different name.
She probably doesn't get to pick, right? Like, it's probably... like, she probably isn't big enough to have a stage name yet.
I guess. We'll see it.
Because, like, commercials don't have, like, credit sequences, you know what I mean?
No, they don't.
So, she doesn't have, like, a persona yet.
Yeah.
Let's see here. She gets to LME and Ren calls her. He teases her for walking around so boldly, even though she's a TV star now, what with the commercial and everything. She looks up to see him standing a floor above her. She goes to see him. He's with Yashiro, who's back and was he sick or something? I don't know. He's fine now. He tells Ren tells her that Mr. Sawara gave him her phone number, and he asks why she's not wearing her Love Me uniform, and she says that she came straight away from school. Ren sees her in her school outfit and says that's good because he wants to see her in the outfit, and like it really suits her, which embarrasses both Kyoko and Yashiro, who's like, dude, what are you saying?
Yeah, that was cute.
Why are you complimenting her outfit?
Well, because he's like the most desirable man in Japan or whatever, and he's just throwing. So him saying anything complimentary would make most girls swoon, and even Yashiro, grown ass man, is embarrassed.
This whole, like, all of the stuff that's happening is so funny from Yashiro's perspective because it's like, oh, you were like pinning her to the wall near the girls' bathroom a couple weeks ago. Now you're like way too flirtily commenting on her outfit. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's very good. Kyoko thanks him for taking the pressure off of her last night, and Yashiro wonders why these two are suddenly on such good terms. Ren says he wanted to thank her for being his fill-in manager, and then he gives her a 100-point stamp. Kyoko gets bashful, saying she didn't really set out to do anything to make her thank her, and Yashiro's like, you're being humble. Like, no manager would nurse their client back to health. That's, like, totally not in the job description. And Kyoko's like, wait, really? I thought it was in the job description. And then she explains that she was doing all that stuff because if he missed work, that would, like, be her failing her job, right? Ren hears this and is displeased. He takes, he hands her the stamp slate back, and she sees that in addition to the 100-point stamp, he has taken off 10 points, giving her a total of 90 points. Kyoko is confused and he says that he used the wrong stamp. Oops. Elsewhere in the talent section, Mr. Sawara gets a call from Queen Records about wanting to shoot a promotional video for Sho Fuwa. We cut to Sho playing Kyoko's soda commercial on like a recorded TV, like he recorded it. Sho asks his manager if she knows who the actress is, and she says her name is supposed to be Kyoko. Sho wonders that if this Kyoko is the same as his Kyoko, but he hasn't seen Kyoko since she changed her hair, so he can't be sure. But he thinks it probably is.
Although he has seen her at the gas station.
He didn't know it.
Nope.
He didn't know it, though. We cut to Mr. Sawara telling Kyoko that another producer wants to work with her on Sho's promotion. Kyoko flat out refuses, and Sawara is confused because, like, she wants to meet him, right? Like, he thinks that she wants to do that. But she refuses again and storms off. She's venting to herself in the Love Me locker room when a dazed Moko comes in. She sits down and tells Kyoko that she landed a gig in a made-for-TV drama because the director saw her commercial. She comments that the director actually dropped the other actress that was slated for the part, but she says that, and she feels kind of bad, but she says that, you know, she wants to be a full-time actress, so I guess it's okay if she has to use others as a stepping stone to, like, get there. Which feels a little harsh. I mean, it's not really your fault that happened.
She doesn't say she feels bad at all. She's like, I don't feel guilty one bit.
Well, she says, like, I feel a little bad, but I guess if I want this, I don't feel guilty.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Guess that sucks.
I know. Kyoko calls it cutthroat.
And I'm like, okay. It's a weird thing to say that because it's like, it's definitely not your fault at all. Like, somebody else made that decision. But whatever. Kyoko hears this and thinks that Sho is using her as a stepping stone and decides that she isn't going to take that lying down. She decides to do the promo and use him as a stepping stone for her career. She tells Mr. Sawara that she'll do the shoot. And he's like, so she did want to meet him after all. Cool. Elsewhere, Yashiro tells Ren that Kyoko got a new gig apparently. And Ren's like, oh yeah, I didn't hear about that. And Yashiro's confused. Isn't like, hey, didn't you two like get close recently? Like, you don't like talk regularly? And Ren's like, not really. Yashiro's like, come on, man. I know that you're like nicer to her now. You don't have to like try to fool me. But Ren is incredulous. Yashiro tells him he needs to ask him about something later. And then on the plane, Ren hopes that Kyoko doesn't live too much of her life motivated by revenge. He thinks it would be best that she didn't see Sho for a while so she can forget all about him. Cut to Kyoko going to Sho's company with an aura of malice. They make her wait in a conference room for so long that she gets pissed and decides to step out. But as she's about to go for the door, it opens right in front of her, and we see none other than Sho Fuwa himself. There he is. She definitely saw him immediately.
Mm-hmm. It's a good
yes.
shift.
Yeah, it's a good cut because those two scenes are interspersed where like Ren is like, I hope she doesn't see him so she can forget about him, and then she opens the door and he's right there. We get a cut of Kyoko's inner council of Kyoko ghosts / demons that control her thoughts. They decide that the best course of action is to pretend to be someone else so he won't cancel the shoot because he's like, well, if he figures out it's like the old me, he'll probably just like cancel it and it'll ruin my opportunity to get a leg up. She ekes out a smile and gives him a hard, playful slap. She asks to shake his hand, and Sho is shocked because Kyoko would never act like that. Kyoko keeps up an overly expressive girly persona as Sho begins to doubt if this Kyoko is the same as the one he knew. She starts aggressively flirting with him, but mostly just kind of like so she could shove him down. She's annoyed that she has to do this. She's like, I'm just acting like one of the girls in my class.
Yeah, she calls him
Jesus
by
Christ.
a nickname, Fuwa-chi.
Yes. She's like, God, it sucks having to do this with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Sho's producer shows up and we learn that he calls her Milky, which is a disgusting nickname. I hate Sho.
It's disgusting.
It's terrible.
Also because
she has huge boobs. Yeah.
Oh, God. What did they say? F cup? That's pretty big, I guess.
Yeah,
Double
she
F.
apologizes to Kyoko for the wait, and we learn that her name is Haruki Asami. Kyoko is shocked to learn that Sho's producer has been a woman this whole time because she's like, oh, I always looked up the stuff like when he was, doing things, and I always assumed it was a guy because I guess the name Asami is masculine. She looks her up and down and notices that she's a total babe with an F cup size and great legs, and comments that she is like the perfect woman. Sho tells Asami that he brought Kyoko, and Asami starts to fill her in. And then that they can fill her in essentially. And then he starts like pretty aggressively flirting with Asami. Kyoko's like, what the hell is happening as he puts his hands on her hips and tries to peck her on the cheek, but she like pushes him away.
Yeah, because she's like, what happened to your manager? Like, weren't you seeing her?
Yeah. It took me a while to remember that like, oh, this isn't the same person as the manager. This is a different person. This is wild. You're like a whole ass adult, Asami. What are you doing?
I Okay. I think it's just he's like a petulant child who wants to hit on everyone, so they just tolerate him because, you know, they don't have him in a bad mood when he has to like go and perform and stuff. I don't think they're like actually intimate with him. I feel like they're just humoring him.
No. I mean, she pushes him away. It's one of two horrifying things, right?
Yeah.
Number one, it's either this, where it's just like, oh, you know, he's just like a harmless little kid, like whatever, we'll just like go along with it. It's kind of cute, you know, that kind of thing. Because they don't seem mad about it, right? Which is bad for obvious reasons. The alternative is that this is being a woman in the entertainment industry just means you get constantly harassed by every guy. So you just have to put up with this shit all the time. And so you're just so like numb to it now that like, yeah, I guess the like star would put his hand on your hip. And I guess you just have to grin and bear it, which is terrible.
I have a correction. Okay. I just grabbed the manga volume that this happens in. So we're at volume 7. He calls her Miruki as the nickname. And I think Haruki is the first name that sounds like a man. And I don't know why he changed it to that, but it's not Milky in the freaking manga. Well, what's wrong with these people?
I feel like Miruki is how you would say Milky, though.
Is it?
Oh, let me see. Gshow.org. Let's go look.
Oh, dear.
Believe it or not, this is not a thing that people say very often.
What is it?
Okay, so you say Milky Way as Milky Way. Oh yeah, it's the same. It's phonetically the same.
Damn it. Okay.
Which does definitely make it sound like he's talking about her boobs because F cup size, which like holy shit.
You got special ordered those babies. You can't go to the Victoria's Secret and get them.
Yeah, she's got to be doing some lat exercises to get that to make have her back knot.
Some people are just cursed, okay? And it sucks. Everybody wants what they don't have. So I'm sure she's like, yeah.
Yeah, that has to be really heavy. But, you know, whatever. Hey, if you get the right bra, I guess it's fine.
Anyways.
Kyoko is dazed.
The cup size by sight. Kyoko, she like immediately knew what size they were.
Instantly does.
Maybe she's a little insecure.
Dude, maybe she's just into Asami. She's like, oh, she's the perfect woman.
I mean,
hell yeah.
Yeah, her shirt is heinous, but she is pretty.
Yeah, the outfit is bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Which, you know, is fine because you're the producer. So who cares what your outfit is?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Kyoko is dazed by the revelation that Sho has been palling around with hot older women while she was being his damn housekeeper the whole time. She has renewed anger and has to hide it for now. They go to the meeting room and we meet fellow actress Mimori Nanokura, who is also going to be in the video. She's into Sho and suspicious of Kyoko. Yep.
Something to say.
Yeah.
In the manga, she freaking goes to the same school as Kyoko and they kind of know each other. And she almost like, because she's like, oh, what the hell are you doing here, Kyoko Mo? And then Kyoko covers her mouth before she can say her last name. She doesn't want Sho to find out. So wild that they just, I guess it still makes sense without that knowledge, but because she kind of pesters her. She's one of the girls kind of mean to her at school.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Crazy.
We don't really get anything about the school life in this episode, which they all sit down and discuss the promo. Asami gives an outline of the shoot, which is going to be a fantasy setting about a devil boy and two pure-hearted angels. The devil boy has never been in love before, but falls in love with one of the angels immediately. Love at first sight. However, their love is forbidden because it will destroy them both. What?
Devil boy sounds silly. Devil.
Well, this whole thing is ridiculous. The other angel discovers that they fell in love and then tries to kill the devil. Upon hearing this premise, Kyoko enthusiastically and volunteers to be the one that tries to kill the devil. She's like, I want to do this. And Asami is like, oh, great. Like, because that's how I wanted to cast it. But I was worried you like wouldn't want to be the antagonist. And Kyoko says that she spent every waking hour wishing she could kill a devil.
This exact devil.
Yes, this exact devil. Don't worry about the context. Don't worry about my enthusiasm. It's just because I love the premise so much. Kyoko goes to the bathroom and tries to physically wash her hands of Sho Fuwa, being like, God, I had to shake his hand earlier. As she decides how she's going to try to like play this off as like, I hate this guy, but I can't hate this guy too much because I have to pretend to be a different Kyoko. She's walking back to the room and she overhears Mimori talking shit about Ren to Sho because Sho is still insecure about Ren being a hotter guy than him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Kyoko realizes that the way Mimori is comforting him is the way that she used to comfort him back in the day. So she's like, oh, Jesus Christ, this woman is just like me, how I was. Oh, no.
The ghost of Kyoko's past.
The ghost of Kyoko. This is who she was, haunting her. They get served lunch, but Mimori has made Sho a lunch instead of him getting one from like whatever catering place they got it from. He's annoyed and ungrateful. Mm-hmm.
Back to that last scene. She's like, oh, she's just like me. And then she's like, oh, never mind. She's got huge boobs. She's fine. Like, she won't suffer the same fate as me. Oh, God. And, sorry. The bento.
She prepared a lunch for him. He's annoyed and ungrateful, but is like, I guess I'll eat it anyway. Kyoko is depressed, having to watch another girl get treated like shit by Sho. No, this isn't where it happens. He takes a bite of the pre-prepared lunch, but doesn't like it and is about to spit it out. And Kyoko thinks that Mimori must have put her heart and soul into making that, so he can't, like, spit it out. You can't refuse this. So she slides him a packet of salt. Sho sees this and stares at her as we cut to credits.
Ooh, cool, but also, girl, you're giving it away.
Giving it away. I mean,
because I guess it's an egg omelet. I guess some people make it salty and some make it sweet, which sweet sounds disgusting to me.
That sounds gross.
Egg should be salty.
Yeah. Yep. So here they are together. She has to pretend to be different.
Annoying, but
Mimori.
He calls
naive
her
little Mimori.
Pochi. He has a nickname.
Yeah, he does that next episode. That's what I was like. Does it happen here? No, it happens next episode where he does that.
Yeah. It's because she goes to LME that she brings up Ren. With that terrible fake.
That horrible bore Ren.
Yeah. Well, yes. There's not that much substance to his personality at the moment.
It's true.
He's a robot man.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think we should just go to the next one.
Child. Yep. Do it.
Stage 18 is called Sin Like an Angel. We open on Sho thinking about whether or not Kyoko is the same as, or this Kyoko is the same as old Kyoko. We see Sho in costume looking like a Final Fantasy ass devil elf man. He's got elf ears. He's got weights. He's got like belts. His like shirt is like all the way stuff. Open.
Yep. Body.
He's got the little he's got the little chain coming from your fingers down to like the thing on the back of your hand. I don't know what that thing's called. It's like a gauntlet, kind of. It's way over the top. Sho keeps debating if it's really her or not. Then he spies a perfume bottle in the shape of a swan that he remembers Kyoko wanting so badly not that long ago that she even gave it her own little nickname. He thinks that he will use this to expose her as the OP plays. We cut to the women's dressing room. Kyoko is freaking out because she thinks she might have given herself away when she slid him that packet of salt last episode. We see Mimori getting her makeup applied and Kyoko is into it. She's like, hell yeah, makeup. Yeah. And she says she can't wait until she gets hers. And Mimori and the makeup artist think that's weird. Like, you're too excited about this. Sho and Asami burst in and Mimori fawns over Sho's demon elf look. Kyoko is also shocked and Sho like walks over to her and is like, ooh, I saw you looking at me. You must really love fairy tale elf stories, huh? And Kyoko's like, no. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't love elf fairy tale stories. But Sho keeps pressing the issue, pinning her to the wall, and asking her to call her Sho like she used to. And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But before he can keep going, Mimori steps in between them and separates them. She's like, what's going on with you two? This is where Ren calls Mimori Poochery or Pochery?
Pochi.
Pochi?
Pochi. I think it's Pochi.
Which is, we get a note that says that's a dog's name. He's calling her a dog's name.
Yeah.
And she likes it, I guess. Kyoko is like, thank God that's over with, when Sho pulls out the perfume and says loudly to himself, oh, hey, look at this weird cosmetic I found. Man, if only I could remember what it's called. What's it called again? Oh, yeah, it's called. And then he and Kyoko both say the name Royal Odette at the same time, which is the nickname Kyoko gave it, not the actual name. And Kyoko is still like in love with this product. Everyone else in the room like looks kind of weird, and Mimori's like, why'd you guys call it that? It's called Royal Snow. Like, what are y'all talking about? And Kyoko realizes that she just said the name that she personally called it, not the actual name, and looks at Sho, who smirks, because now he's confirmed that it's actually her. Dude, I can't believe she gets owned so hard here.
Yeah.
What is this? Is this perfume? I can't tell what this is.
Yeah, it's a perfume just shaped in a swan, which Odette is the name of the swan princess.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, the guy's annoying in that movie, but it's a good Disney movie. I think it's Disney.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Okay,
it's not.
It's good. The guy's dumb though. But yeah, so she gets like a little in her head and like fantasizing whenever she sees anything cute. Kind of how she was just like drooling watching Mimori getting her makeup done. Just that's her weakness, is all these cosmetic things, and so she just dreams about it since she can't actually have them normally. And he knows that because he does know her because they did live together. So just like she knows his weaknesses, he knows hers.
He was paying enough attention to realize that this would work.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to Yashiro and Ren, and Yashiro's like, you didn't seriously confuse the stamps last episode, right? You're just being mean to her. And Ren says that he won't give her 100 points just to satisfy her ego. And Yashiro's like, oh, I get it. You took off 10 points when she implied that she was just doing like the work for herself. Like she thought it was part of her job and not that she was like specially taking care of you. And Ren's like, yeah, I guess so. And Yashiro's like, I get it, man. Like, obviously she was just doing that stuff because it's her job. But I guess it's still surprising coming from somebody you like that, like, they were just doing that because of their job. And Ren's like, what do you mean? I don't like her. Like, yeah, sure, I don't hate her anymore. But really, I just subtracted those points on principle so that the love me section can work out the way that President Lori described. And Yashiro was like, what are you talking about? I see the way you look at her. You're so on one right now.
I know, poor Yashiro. He like sees everything and has to like sit with the information by himself. So
Yashiro is the most like, dude, you could just be normal about this. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yes. Well, because he like speculates on Ren's past because Ren doesn't open up. So he's like, oh, you were like up to no good as a kid, weren't you? You were like a little punk back in your day, right? So he just has to like come up with all these scenarios that he thinks might be Ren because Ren will not tell him anything about himself.
Do you think being Ren's manager would suck? Kind of like I'm sure, like he does so everything. Busy. He's good at everything, but then it's like the guy never talks about anything. He never fucking eats. He never takes care of himself. It must be like kind of annoying.
Probably have no vacation days. Ren's certainly not taking a vacation, so neither is your manager.
Hopefully he's getting paid pretty well though.
I don't know. You think managers get paid well?
I think they get like a cut of what the client makes, right? And Ren's probably making pretty good money.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anyway, let's see. We cut back to Sho's promo shoot. Mimori asks Sho what the relationship with Kyoko, or what his relationship with Kyoko is, and we get a flashback where Kyoko asks him if she's going to fire her, or if he's going to fire her when he realizes that it's her. And he says, no, she can't hurt him anyway. So, like, do your best and see if you can really get revenge on me, huh? Like, he's daring her to. Back in the present, he tells Mimori that Kyoko is his enemy. And she's like, what? Kyoko walks out in costume, which consists of, like a fantasy flowy, like, long floor-length dress. And, like, this enormous blonde wig. It's huge.
Yes, it is wild. But she looks so pretty.
She does look pretty. She's got like makeup done and stuff like that. I mean, she's supposed to be an angel.
She's
I don't know if I get like
contacts.
Angel. Yeah. She got blue contacts.
They don't really say it explicitly. I don't know if they will in the anime at all, but they're angels. So Haruki, she said we'll add the wings in CGI after we shoot everything. So they're just not wearing wings now, but there will be in the final thing.
Yeah.
Smoking hot.
Yeah, looking good. Sho is stunned that she looks so good and is in disbelief that it's really Kyoko. She curtsies to him and then kicks the shit out of him. Then she grabs him by the collar and is like, never thought I could be like this, huh? Newsflash, the nice innocent girl you knew was gone. I'm gonna make you wish you were dead. Asami walks over and is like, what's the deal with you two? Sho says that they used to be childhood friends, but she's different now. And like Sho's still in disbelief over how she's acting. Sho's manager, who up to this point I'd forgotten about, her name's Shoko, is like, I can't believe that was the same girl we saw in episode 1. They all walk on set. Memori is upset because she can't be friends with Kyoko because she hates Sho. She's like, I hate this chick. This chick sucks. How am I supposed to pretend to be like sisters with her or whatever for this shoot? And Sho is like, yeah, you know, it is kind of weird how all the other girls always hate you, Kyoko. And Kyoko snaps back that it's his fault because he was overly friendly with her all through like their childhood, and the other girls were jealous of that, so she couldn't make any friends with any girls. And Sho's like, wait, really? And Kyoko's like, yeah, dude. Memori gets frustrated and is like, I need you two to stop arguing over stuff I don't understand what you're talking about.
FOMO.
FOMO. Asami, Kyoko, and the other, like, and some other staff member meets backstage. Asami explains that the shoot doesn't have any dialogue, so they're all supposed to like act through emoting on their faces because like it's a music video, so the music's just gonna play in the background. But since Memori hates Kyoko now, that'll make things kind of hard. The staff member apologizes to Kyoko, and Kyoko's like, it's cool, we'll just like deal with it. Like, you know, I can pretend that we're friends. I'm an actor. She thinks that she needs the shoot to go well or her revenge won't work out because this has to be a stepping stone for her career. Nearby, Sho explains to Memori that him and Kyoko are over, but Memori comments that he keeps looking at her. Why does he keep looking at her? We get a montage of the shoot with Sho's music playing over it, and I kind of like his music. I kind of like the song.
Yeah, I'm sure like shows like any anime based off a star, it's probably someone like an actual artist using it as like their own stepping stone to get a little famous by having their stuff in the anime.
Oh, sure. It was just like it starts
he's
playing.
Like a visual K
good,
guy, kind of. I think is his genre. How crazy he dresses and stuff.
In the montage, we see Sho having difficulty not staring at Kyoko. He thinks about how hard he tried to deny that he was staring at Kyoko to Memori, but he couldn't seem to even do that very well. Asami walks up and is like, Sho, you need to pay attention to Kyoko. You see how good she is at acting? Like, she can act all playful with Memori even though 10 minutes ago she told her that she hated her. That's because she takes the job seriously, just like you need to do for these scenes. The upcoming scene is where Kyoko kills Sho, is about to be shot. Sho thinks about Kyoko, and we get a momentary flashback where after the scene with Memori, he tells Kyoko that he's surprised that she can act, and she says that she wouldn't have even gotten into it if he hadn't dumped her. And Asami wonders what that could mean. Memori asks Kyoko what that means. She's like, did you two go out? And Kyoko is like, oh, dude, I don't have time to explain this to you, but like, the relationship was bad. It's not good in the way you're probably thinking. In the hallway, Sho and Shoko are walking. Shoko comments that he can't, or he didn't say that Kyoko was like his maid at the time. And Sho was like, yeah, I couldn't bring myself to like say that out loud to everybody. Shoko is like, oh, I bet you're feeling guilty about that, huh? And he says no, because in his mind, she still belongs to him. So he has every right to do whatever he wants to her. And then he walks off. And Shoko thinks that that's a terrible thing to say, but then wonders what'll happen if he actually starts to fall in love with her the way she is now. Joe sucks.
Yeah, he does.
It's like, I own this woman for some reason.
Yep. Yeah, he's just a little shit.
And I guess Shoko just doesn't. It's just like, wow, that's
she's
mean.
Fully aware that he is, but she is his manager, so it's just her job.
Get another job. Just get a new client. The show isn't that good, right? God.
Well, he probably is making a lot of money, so if she does
That's
get
true.
cut, like you said, then maybe it's worth it. I don't know. He is quite. I feel like he would be in so many scandals, like with how he behaves.
Oh yeah,
like
no, he'd be getting canceled nowadays.
Yeah,
he'd be getting canceled, and then he'd have to like, come back and get a Netflix special about how he got canceled, and it would be so annoying.
Yeah.
Ugh. Let's see. The murder scene starts. Kyoko's got to choke Sho and throw him off a tower. Kyoko is super pumped for this scene, and Sho thinks that she's being so defiant, like she actually does want to devour him. Because I guess he's like kind of into this now. We're getting like a weird psychosexual vibe coming from this guy.
What?
Being like,
what do you
ooh,
mean?
The girl I own is being so defiant against me now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He thinks that she's gotten too good too fast, and he needs to prove that he's better. The scene rehearsal starts, and Kyoko just immediately starts choking the shit out of Sho. Asami's like, stop, you're choking him for real. You need to not do that. Kyoko apologizes to Asami, but asks if her character is supposed to like turn into a devil at the end. So like, shouldn't she be choking him with like vigor, like with some malice? And Asami's like, well, she becomes a devil after she kills him. So like, you need to still be an angel while you're choking him. So you need to choke him angelically. Kyoko's like, all right, I'll just try to think angel thoughts. They try the shot again. She's choking him less hard, but still for real and still clearly angry. So Asami calls cut. She tells Kyoko that she needs to think about being an angel like she did in the previous scene with Momori when they were like hanging out as like, you know, sisters. Kyoko thinks to herself that she could act in the Momori scene because she was imagining Momori as Moko, her actual friend. But it's not going to work for this because she doesn't have any analog for Sho other than Sho,
Nope.
a guy she hates.
Yeah.
She's wondering what she should do as they take a break, and Sho walks over to taunt her. He's like, oh, for all that talk, this is the best you can do, huh? You can't even choke me properly. So I guess give me your best